won't stay up though, man.
Did you bend it? You got to bend it.
Yeah, come look at it. I think I got it. Come look at it. I think the clip maybe broke. I'm good?
No, sir.
Oh, come on.
No,
Hey,
sir.
man, I can't go out there like this, man.
I mean, you know I got the bow tie on, right?
What you talking about?
Keep your bow tie up.
There's a bow tie holder.
Let me show you. Take your bow tie off for me real quick.
There's a bow tie holder, man.
One going underneath, top, just like that.
You've been waiting to show me this, man.
I'm waiting to show you, man. This is revolutionary. This is revolutionary. One for the other side, just like that. And now, let's see your bow tie. Turn up for me real quick. You're on the floor. You're on the
Malik,
floor.
man, what did you just do, man?
You're on the floor.
Hey, Malik, come back real quick. Real quick. You always do the same thing? Let me see.
It'll never fall again.
Wait,
Never fall again.
Come on, man. Wow.
GC, you're on the 5, man. They ready?
Yeah, I know, man. This bow tie won't stay up though, man.
Did you bend it? You got to bend it.
Yeah, come look at it. I think I got it. Come look at it. I think the clip maybe broke. I'm good?
No, sir.
Oh, come on.
No,
Hey,
sir.
man, I can't go out there like this, man.
I mean, you know I got the bow tie on, right?
What you talking about?
Keep your bow tie up.
There's a bow tie holder.
Let me show you. Take your bow tie off for me real quick.
There's a bow tie holder, man.
One going underneath, top, just like that.
You've been waiting to show me this,
I'm
man.
waiting to show you, man. This is revolutionary. This is revolutionary. One for the other side, just like that. And now, let's see your bow tie. Turn up for me real quick. You're on the floor. You're on the
Malik,
floor.
man, what did you just do, man?
You're on the floor.
Hey, Malik, come back real quick. Real quick. You always do the same thing? Let me see.
It'll never fall again.
Wait,
Never fall again.
Come on, man. Wow. All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I was on an emergency call.
I totally understand. They come. That's why they're emergencies, right?
Man.
Speak to Allah. Yes, ma'am. So, family, welcome back to the STEM Files. We serve as the voice of STEM talent and Black culture. My name is Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. I am alone. I'm not by myself. Jabril couldn't make it this evening, but he's definitely here with us in spirit. We look forward to interviewing our sister, Akilah Nehanda. She's a rapper, influencer, straight out of Houston, Texas. And we're going to be talking about, what 50 years of hip hop means to her. We're going to be talking about, her love for science and technology as it relates to art. So, family, please stay tuned for more after this.
You believe in these false prophets, I say I bet he lying. No football, New York City Giants. Girl dad, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. When we teaching our babies, we teach them heavy science. Heavy science. Heavy science. When we teaching our women, we teach them heavy science. Heavy science. Heavy science. When we teach men, we teach them heavy.
All right, family. Once again, welcome back to the STEM Files, where we serve as the voice of STEM talent and Black culture. And once again, my name is Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. I'm a biomedical research scientist with a concentration or background in cardiovascular pathobiology, which is the study of how diseases form in the heart and blood vessels. I'm typically joined by my right hand, Jabril Muhammad, aka Jabril Engineer. He's a civilian mechanical engineer with the United States Navy, working on those powerful ships that you see out at that you can observe at any main shipping dock in the country. For family, this is going to be a very innovative episode because we usually have people on the platform who are in the sciences in some way, life sciences, engineering, technology, in a formal professional sense. But we wanted to add, spin it off a little bit into those who use science and technology in some way in their platform. So without any further ado, I'm going to stop yapping and I'm going to bring my sister on. First and foremost, welcome, assalamu alaikum, Sister Akilah, to the platform. How you doing?
Walaikum salam. I'm so excited to be on this show. My first time on this show.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And speaking of first time, why did you decide to come on the STEM Files? I know kind of, science and technology as a discipline isn't your forte, but what made you decide to say yes? Why the STEM Files?
Because one, I really appreciate all the things that y'all are doing in STEM, but also I think that it relates directly to art and culture and music. Because while we say Islam is mathematics, but we have to realize that mathematics is not just formulas and like in science and whatnot, but it can also be the formula of music, putting together songs, putting together business businesses, organizations, so that's all a science as well. That's all mathematics, being able to create a catchy beat and then being able to create words to go with a catchy beat, you know what I mean? To actually stimulate people's minds, that's all a science, because not everybody can do it and not everybody understands or can tap into that type of mathematics, truthfully. So that's why the STEM Files is a yes.
We appreciate that. And, we're going to get to the mathematics of songwriting and different scientific elements that come with putting together a song. But I wanted first to just kind of get your take on Hip Hop 50. You being a rapper, you being uh, in hip hop and being a part of of the culture of hip hop. What does that particular milestone mean to you as it relates to your industry?
Um, for me, honestly, seeing the state of hip hop right now and seeing how in 50 years it went from something that was inspiring for the community, something that was uplifting the community and like really changed the world and like had everybody trying to be like us, trying to dress like us,
Right.
like us, to now in 2023, this being the first year in 30 years that hip hop has not charted as on the Billboard charts. It's really showing that hip hop has been hijacked, and 50 years of a roller coaster when it comes to hip hop. You know what I mean? And now I do believe we're in a time where we're getting back to revolutionary hip hop. Because once you've gotten the type of hip hop that we see now and we hear now, where it's not even worthy to chart because it's not talking about anything, it's like Bow Wow said, it's repetitive, it's not a lot of new materials when it comes to like the sounds are
Yeah, I noticed there's a
same.
lot of sampling going on. Like
Yeah,
almost
it's like
every major hip hop song is a sample right
yes, it's like a lot of the same sounds, a lot of the same. I mean, sometimes you can't even tell the difference between an artist because you think it's the same person because they sound exactly the same.
now. Yeah,
So once you've gotten to that low state in hip hop, I believe we're coming into a resurgence. So it's kind of interesting that we talked about or that we are uplifting the fact that it's been 50 years because I think now is going to be the beginning or the turning point for maybe another 50 years, but going upward, you know, an upward climb. I think it's a shift. So I think it's good to take note that we are we're benchmarking this 50 years. So now let's take it to the next level.
got you. And where do you see where do you see hip hop being like once you take it to that next level and and it looks like what you would like it to look? You know, where do you see hip hop? Where do you see hip hop becoming in that form?
I think it's just going to be revolutionary. I think it's going to finally give birth to artists like myself who are actually putting out messages that are high vibrational. And we know about high vibration and vibrations just based off of science, based off of like energy.
Right.
And so the energy has to be higher. And I think that's where it's headed. I think it's headed towards, um, yeah, just a higher frequency.
Okay. And speaking of high frequencies, right? If you took like all the top hip hop artists out right now, you know, Migos, Kodak Black, Lotto, all of them, right? And they all decided tomorrow that they were gonna rap like how you rap. How do you think that would just transform everything?
I mean, it's crazy how things would transform overnight. Um, so much so that that's why the industry and that's why the enemy makes sure that the people who he promotes continues his agenda because
Right.
he knows like if the people who he promoted somehow some way had it within them to change and all of a sudden totally switch their message and then got together band together and switched the message together and start doing collabs together about cleaning up the streets and you know taking care of black babies and getting married and all this type of stuff it
Hmm.
became the new wave. Man, there will be so much pride that the black community will have again because remember hip hop in the beginning we had a lot of pride about it. We were proud
Right.
of being black, we were proud of having hip hop because that was something we created. It was
Exactly.
something that we like we were cool because like nobody else came up with this and it was on time, it was like cool and it was usually positive or at least you know fun, you know,
Hmm.
but not fun in a trashy way but just talking about parties or whatever, you know. So we had a lot of pride I feel in who we are, but now I think that if a lot of people in hip hop were to change their lyrics and get back to some respectable lyrics, I think that pride will come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Cool. So we got a question from our co-host Jabril. Unfortunately, like I said in the beginning, he couldn't make it. But I wanted to ask this question because you know, we talked about, you know, how you felt about the step files in the beginning and what have you on the platform. So this is from Jabril. So let's see. Okay. Has the STEM files played a role in in your approach to educating your daughter about STEM? If so, how?
Um, you mean the particular the particular
Yeah, just the platform, or the things that the
promote?
things that we kind of point to, right?
Yeah, I think it's funny because my daughter, she goes to MUI, and it's funny that because honestly for me the word STEM, like when I was in school we didn't say STEM like
Right. It's become a thing now that it wasn't
yeah,
popping back then.
yeah. So honestly, y'all show was like it's funny because it was like it went along with the times that we're living in where people are talking about STEM and using that particular word. And so when my daughter a few months ago, she went to her first STEM competition.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's 3, so she was the youngest one there. But
Hmm.
it was just interesting to see them, just putting blocks together, putting stuff together, and uh, and so that's how I became familiar. Became familiar with the word because of shows like this, and knowing that that's what it entailed. And because again, when I was in school, we didn't have STEM class; we just did stuff. So,
Right, right, right. Yeah, I
so
mean, I'll definitely say, the term STEM as an acronym hasn't hasn't been used that long, and is mainly a social. It's I'm not gonna say it's a social media term, but I will say it's become a hashtag in a sense, or a movement, or fad in a sense. If STEM people, certain people getting involved in STEM, and it's a lot of things attached to it. But back in the '90s and early 2000s, you didn't really hear that term or that acronym STEM. Like, you just heard science classes, you just heard AP classes or stuff like that, or you just named the class for what it was: biology, geometry, chemistry, all that stuff. So we definitely appreciate you, and how you've been able to observe the STEM files over time and see how it's been able to add to what we do as a people. Now, I wanted to ask you about how you create, right? You're a rapper in the technical sense, but to us, you're much more than a rapper. You are uh, a poet. You teach, you educate, the whole nine, right? So, what are some scientific elements involved in you creating a song? Like, how do you go about actually creating verses, or compiling those verses into a song?
usually I like to start with the beat, um, because to me the beat is like the foundation. Um, Sometimes I have written and then try to incorporate a beat. But whenever I do that, I always end up having to like rewrite something and in order to fit it to the beat.
Right.
But usually I start with the beat, and then of course I only choose beats that I feel that the vast majority of people could actually dance to or feel or have a certain sound that I that I think would be something that black people in particular would
Right.
really like to jam to. Of course, everybody likes my music of all backgrounds, but whenever I think of a beat, I'm thinking of like a hip hop type of beat or a soulful hip hop beat that make you feel good. And I try to also do a higher vibrational beat. As long as I can get a beat that's not too bassy. I love a lot of bass, but you don't want low like the hertz or whatever. I don't know the scientific term, but like the low vibrations, you don't want too much of that because you're hitting different chakras when you have, certain beats. So you want to stay elevated. And that's why, for example, Kanye West, his College Dropout album,
Yes,
like all
perfect
of those,
example.
yeah, like all of those beats were so high vibrational. Like they had bass, but it wasn't like a low feeling like a future or something like that. It was high vibrational, and
Make you
then
feel good.
yeah, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And so I try to have some elements of high vibration, even if it's some like a beat that I really like that has a lot of low bass. I don't want it to be just full low bass. And then I start writing based off of either the times, when I do my freestyles on social media, I'm always choosing topics about what's going on in the world. And then one day I was listening to a lecture, and it was Minister Farrakhan at the Hip Hop Summit, and he literally said, "Open the newspaper and start rapping about the
What you
current
see?
events." Yeah,
Right, right,
and I said,
right.
"Oh
Brilliant.
my God!" I said,
Right,
"That's what I've been doing." So I think that's really important and imperative you can give your perspective on what's happening, and I think that it's really important to utilize what you know, like the knowledge of self and the teachings or whatever knowledge that you have, whether you're in the Nation of Islam or not, but utilize whatever knowledge that you have and to be able to formulate it in a way that is simple and simplistic enough where anybody of any age can dance to it and understand it and like get it. So it's almost like you're taking really hard concepts and really difficult concepts and really deep concepts, and you're formulating it in a way that people can easily digest it. So in a scientific way, it's like breaking down something to its smallest form,
right, right,
or making it so that it's very digestible. And so that's the power of music, is that if you can write the songs that is simple, and honestly, more simple the better, because that's what makes it catchy. That's why children like A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P. Like when you start adding a whole bunch of rhythm to that, it's like
hmm
that's gonna be hard for them to learn. But if you just keep it simple and basic, then it's easy for it to get into the hypnotic, elements of the mind. That's why it's really important when you're writing music if you're going to be driving a point home, make sure it's something positive. Because if you're saying, I'm a B word, I'm a B word, I'm a B word, that's like that's hypnotizing people into calling themselves something lower, something out of their nature, something that Allah would not approve of, God would not approve of. But if you're hitting them with something like, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I know I went way back, but you're saying something that's like consistent, like, or even let's bring it a little closer. Kendrick Lamar, when he had that song, I Love Myself. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like he was trying to tap into the vibration of, okay, since I'm so influential, I'm gonna just start saying I love myself. So you got a whole crowd of people yelling, I love myself. That's a higher vibration.
Right, right, right.
You know what I mean? But it's a simple thing that he's saying. So that's the formula that I use when I'm doing music, because I don't, for me, some artists, they're like, no, I do it for my therapy. And, if it just comes out a lot of words and if it comes out too wordy, that's just how I'm going to express myself. But to me, like, I'm creating music so that people can like it. I'm creating music not just for me, but I want people to I want it to be drilled into your head. I want it to be catchy because I like catchy music. So if I want it to be catchy, I'm going to have to make sure that I sit down and I actually analyze how I want to break down saying something that's like a paragraph and put it in 4 words, or you know what I mean?
Right, right.
It's hard to do, but when you're a scientist, you can do it, huh?
Exactly, exactly. Come at it from a scientific approach. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So we got well, we usually do the final call segment around the 30-minute mark of the program. But at this time, family, we're going to go ahead and get into the final call newspaper. Then we're going to build more on what Sister Akilah was saying about, the scientific nature of building a song. Check it out, family.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call digital edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
Peace. This is Naya Muhammad, a future architect. You're watching The STEM Files.
All right, thank you. Welcome back, family. And this week's edition of the STEM Files is not the STEM Files, but the final call is entitled "Uniting the Original Family: Why We Must Work to Overcome Obstacles to Divisions and Hostilities Among Black, Latino, Indigenous, and Asian Communities to Foster Understanding for Growth and Progress." Family, this is a prime example of uniting the original family. We're combining the art of music and the art and science together, and we're creating something great in this platform. But family, if you're interested in the Final Call newspaper, especially this edition, please visit finalcalldigital.com. If you're in the Philadelphia area, please tap in with my brother, Jaboon Engineer. If you're in Richmond, Virginia, tap in with me. And if you're in Houston, Texas, tap in with our sister and her husband, Brother Philip, for the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. Now we're back. You know, we have our special guest, Sister Akilah Nehanda. And matter of fact, let's double back. So, what is Nehanda your real last name, or is that kind of like an inspiration? Is that a stage name, or
It's my middle name.
okay, gotcha. What made you want to use that as your
What?
for your brand and your likeness?
Because Nehanda actually, the funny thing is, I actually dropped the name Nehanda. Now I'm just Akilah, but
Okay.
but I was going by Akilah Nehanda, one, because Nehanda is my middle name, but also because Nehanda has a very powerful meaning. It's a name out of Zimbabwe. Nehanda was a warrior in Zimbabwe, and so the meaning of Nehanda is reoccurring revolutionary spirit.
Mm,
And so she was basically a warrior that led her people to, like, was fighting the colonizers and whatnot. And so, anyways, it means reoccurring revolutionary spirit, and I believe that what I'm doing is just another
yeah.
form of being revolutionary. So,
Right.
but I shortened it to just Akilah because I want people to know full on that, you know, I'm Muslim. You know what I mean? And I want that to shine because Akilah is clearly an Arabic name, right? So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
like I want that to shine, and I want that to be. I think that name in and of itself is really powerful. And Akilah means one who reasons with intelligence, logical, and so that's also a really powerful name, especially as an artist. And so, yeah.
Okay, yes, man. And if you think about a rap song, right? You know, it's a set of reoccurring sounds and words in a small amount of time. So it goes right back to what you do on a just in a scientific stance. So I definitely can see the correlation between the two. Um, so in Houston, right? You know, you are very influential in your city. You know, your city definitely appreciates you. They're a fan of what you do. So, how has your community in Houston been enlightened on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through your art?
Um, we have what's called artist respecting communities, and it was a organization that was ran by this brother artist out here named K Reno, a sister named Cliche, but that's her stage name, and brother Abdul Halim, which is our minister out here and our student minister. And we would get different artists, and we would kind of come together, and we would network and just talk about the importance of hip hop. So that was one way that I noticed that the community, and especially the hip hop community, was being exposed to the nation, because it would be like 100 people every time we had an ARC meeting. They would come to the mosque, and it was like new people every time. So that's how they got exposed. And then, of course, if I'm doing any type of performances, I have a performance on July 2nd, and that's going to be also a community event. And so when you have these type of community events, like, we just try to show up and participate. And now that I'm about to put out my mixtape and all of that, I'll have the proper merch and the proper things to come along with it, so that I can actually now spread my music, so that when I am going places, they can actually have something that they can purchase, and then they can ride around Houston
Right,
with my
right.
music. So all of these things play a part in Houston. Like, for example, today, and again, still the social media is still my biggest platform. But even today, I was leaving a restaurant and I was pulling out of the parking lot, and two sisters flagged me down. I'm thinking that I forgot something out. You know, I dropped something. I'm like, oh, I
Right.
gotta. I was like, I'm gonna have to get out the car and pick up whatever they said I dropped. But no, she was like, "Are you a poet?" And I was like, "I'm a
Mm.
rapper. You know, I'm a rapper." She was like, "Yeah, you rap about like black, you know, black empowerment, black women." And she was like, "I seen you on TikTok," and I was like, "What?" She was
Beautiful.
like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see." So Houston, and I don't think it's just Houston because it says that New York is one of my biggest followings, in Houston. So there, you know, Houston is starting to show me love. I do still need to do more when it comes to the music scene in Houston in particular, because I'm so focused more so on social media and online that I haven't done a lot of like in person like Houston shows. So all of that has to increase for sure.
Got you. Got you. Okay. And speaking of your influence, it's been a little under 10 years since Vice made an article about you being being the best Muslim rapper Houston has ever seen, right?
Mhm.
So, I pulled up the article. I didn't pull up the exact article, but I just wanted to get your comments on this because this was so long ago. This was, I believe you were still in college at this time, right?
I had just got out of college.
Right. You just got out of college. It was 9 years ago.
Hmm.
And, here we are, fast forward a decade later. How have you seen how your influence grow just outside of, people recognizing you in the street? But just online and the vast presence. Like, how have you seen your influence grow from this to now?
I think it's a beautiful thing to have been recognized so long ago, you know,
Right.
as the best Muslim rapper from Houston we've ever heard. I think that's really important because a sister did an article about me in the source, and she was like, "Yeah, don't forget about me too. I'm shouting you out because I said yes, I said, but this article was actually in 2000, like 15, 2006. She was like, oh, she said
Mm,
he got a gift because what happens is people who write these articles and who reach out because it was a guy named Lance. He reached out and was like, oh, wow. He saw some of my stuff and was like, I'm going to do this article on you. And she was saying, the woman from the source, she said, you know what? Like, that's a gift when people see you well in advance before you're on people's radar and they can already spot that that's
facts.
who you're going to be. She was like,
Facts.
it's a gift. She was like, I have that gift as well. And, people who are bloggers, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to have that type of gift where they can spot out people. And I mean, most of these bloggers are paid, you know what I mean?
Right.
But for the ones who are not paid and they actually reach out to people, like how these particular bloggers reached out to me without me
Uh-huh.
having a publicist, those bloggers, they have a gift of being able to spot talent before they blow up into a Cardi B or blow up into a Beyonce. They spot them ahead of time. So I just look at it as like a premonition. I just look at it as like, people have been seeing me and they've been knowing that I have a gift from Allah that is needed in this hip hop community. And so
Right.
it feels good to know that I'm still going even after all of those years, and that now more people are starting to see, more blogs are starting to come, and more people are starting to report on me. And now I'm signed to an artist development label that's an imprint at Rock Nation.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so now I'm in that line of like the whole Rock Nation crew and whatnot, and able to have a team and all of that. So all these things, if you just keep going, a lot of people stop, right?
Hmm.
Like you said, that was almost 10 years ago. A lot of people would have stopped by now, but there's no point in stopping if you know that this is what you were born to do, an
Yeah.
aspect of your life. So that's how I look at it. Just don't stop. And if anybody is watching this, that's just a testament to why you should not stop. You know what I mean? Because now more and more and more people, my following is bigger than it ever has been. when he did that article, I only had probably like 2,000 followers, maybe. I didn't have a lot of followers on social media, but he spotted me out anyway. So I think that was a big deal.
Got you. And I totally agree. It's if you're constantly growing in your craft and you're always adding something new to improve yourself, there'll be no point in giving up because you're only going to get better with time as time goes on. So thank you for not giving up because you
Great.
wouldn't be on the STEM files. You wouldn't be doing, what you're doing today. Um, we're going to come back to Rock Nation. I thought that was very interesting. I didn't know that. So this was one question Jabril had. He wanted to know what unique role can those in non-STEM fields play in helping encourage and identify and demystifying avenues to STEM engagement, careers, and business opportunities?
I think one of the biggest things is to educate ourselves on it because a lot of times we just don't know.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing we can do to do that is educate ourselves on what STEM is and the importance of it and how it benefits the community. That's just the answer in short.
Absolutely, absolutely. And have you seen? Um, I've seen people use hip hop, to rap about science and rap about technology or what have you. But in your own circle, or even just yourself, how have you been able to maybe have you seen anyone you know spit about science
I feel
verbatim or
like I
like?
have.
Mhm.
I feel like I have. I'm not sure exactly, and usually it's people who are not, in mainstream or on the radio. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I've seen or heard something online of somebody doing a like a freestyle or something like clever talking about science and whatnot. And I've probably done something, uh, in regards to the field in some way, shape, or form, maybe for somebody. I've done so much I don't even know, but
I feel you.
if they do it, I think it's cool. I think they should. Why not?
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we just had a hit. Um, and it's always good whenever we hear Three Stacks. Andre 3000 just did a song with Killer Mike, scientists and engineers. It wasn't about science and engineering per se, but it definitely had elements of the fields in the song. So I appreciated that. As somebody in the scientific discipline,
And
definitely.
there's a girl in hip
Mhm.
hop. I think what's her name, Mariah the Scientist or something like that. That's her actual stage name.
Oh
I
wow.
I don't know if it's Mariah the Scientist, but it's something with an M. I think it's Mariah the Scientist. But yeah, she's a rapper, but I mean, she doesn't rap about science, but that's just her
A
stage
moniker.
name, and I think
Yes,
that's cool.
absolutely. I definitely do too. I'm trying to think who else has scientific elements in their stage presence. Um, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to that. But I wanted to ask you just about your experience with Rock Nation. So how did that deal come about? How did you first uh, get signed to that development
So,
contract or deal?
so when I was doing my freestyles a couple years ago, Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's a really big fan. Like once he saw my freestyles, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so great! I'm gonna invite you and your family to the All Black National Convention. I want you to perform. I want you to be a part of it." So I was on a panel, and they flew me out there flew me and my husband and daughter out there to participate in his convention. And so I developed a really cool like just relationship with Dr. Boyce Watkins, based off of my music. And so he's the one who linked me to John Boyd. John Boyd, he's he's the founder of Peace Industry Music Group. Um, and Peace Industry Music Group, he has children who have been signed to Rock Nation for a while. And one of them is Victory Boyd. She's like charting she's breaking barriers because she's the first gospel artist out of Rock Nation. They've never had a album come out of Rock Nation, so
Wow.
that's his daughter, and then he has other children who are signed as a group called Infinity Song. And so he saw that I have a following. He saw that I've been doing really good for myself, and so he was like, I'm going to work with you in an artist development way. And so me and my husband, we are now with that label, Peace Industry Music Group, and that's why I'm on tour now. And I have a performance in Chicago, July 30th, um, at Gallery Guichard. And the way I did that and the way we've been doing our tour is through Peace Industry Music Group. So I've already did a performance in Detroit, and my next show is in Chicago, God willing, July 30th. And yeah, so that's how I got involved with them. And we literally just did all of this. Like, I was linked with him in maybe the end of March or early April. And then after that, everything just started moving really, really fast. And now we're on tour. So within a
Wow,
matter of
wow.
months.
Praise be to Allah. Absolutely. And congratulations. That's
Crazy.
a huge thing because we all know the reach of Rock Nation. You know, shout out to Jay-Z. But I wanted to, kind of come back a little bit. You said your husband, right?
Yes.
So I love seeing Brother Philip in the background of all your videos. I actually invited him onto the show. If he's still around, I would love to have him
Oh
come
yeah,
on the
he's
channel for a
actually,
little
he
bit.
has to leave for
Okay.
a DJ gig, but he's
Oh, there you go. Something go. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, brother man?
I'm well. All praise to due to Allah. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the STEM Files and appreciating us for bringing sis on. I wanted to ask both of you, especially while you're here, bro. I enjoy seeing you in the background, seeing you do your thing in support of your queen. What has been the most rewarding thing of working together as a couple?
Well, definitely the best part is just seeing Akilah progress so much because when we first got married, she had kind of like a following, kind of an Instagram presence. But to see how far she's come, the thousands of followers that she's gotten, the millions of views, to know that we had some viral sensations, got one of the comment challenges, he commented and liked the video. So yeah, it's been a blessing just to see just the talent of this wonderful young lady, my wife, just thrive, blossom, for people to take it in so well, so positively. And I think that's the biggest thing, to see the positive and loving reactions and the love and support we get from the art that we're putting out and the things that we've created. So I'm just thankful and blessed, man, just to be a part of it.
Excellent, excellent. So are you with her at every performance? Like, are you her actual DJ for everything?
For now,
DJ?
yes, I will be. Yes, yes, so I will be the DJ for all the performances. I know some of the videos I've had the work, so I know she's had to do some of the Instagram videos without me. But I do let her know that the fans request me as well, so I need to do every video. So,
absolutely, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Praise
So
be to Allah. Walaikum salam, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, no, I thought you had said something like, my bad.
Well, yeah, he has to go.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I have to head to my DJ gig, but I wanted to make sure I said something and say hello to you, brother. So thank you.
I appreciate that, bro. May Allah bless you.
Yes, sir. You as well.
All right. This is Akilah. So that question is for you too. Like, what has been your most rewarding thing, personally, just working together?
Yeah, I think it's the reaction, because I didn't realize how powerful that reaction would be when it comes to how people really wanted to see Black marriages together and Black family. Like, apparently that really, like, people seeing him is like their highlight. They're like, there he goes. I remember when I first started trying to do some videos without him, people were like, oh, this is nice, but where's Phil?
Right. Stop playing.
Right? And I'm just like, hello. I was doing this, no. But yeah, so seeing how people react to us being a unit shows me how important it is to show family and Black love. And so I think that's something that I learned, that people want to see and they need to see. And
sure.
and it's funny because I look up to other people like Tabitha Brown and her husband Chance and stuff like that, and I love watching their shows and whatnot. So I don't know why it didn't dawn on me that people would want to watch me and my husband. So you always kind of like look at other people like, oh, I would love to watch them, but like people would love to watch you too, So I had to learn, through the reactions how much they love seeing us together. And so it helped me to, I guess, the value that he brings to me is his support. And because honestly, like if I didn't have the type of support if he was like a jealous man, or if he was like a man that didn't want me to have fans, or if he was, then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing with such freedom, and I would always
Absolutely.
be worried, or, oh, what is he gonna think? But he's right there with me, so
Right.
it helps my creative process because I don't have to hide or anything.
Yeah, and then it goes back to when Honorable Mention Louis Farrakhan said that two people should complement each other. They should be like, and of course, Brother Nuri when he said, you should be each other's flavor or what have you. And you both being in the music industry, your respective aspects of music complement each other. There's no rapper without a DJ, and DJing is really, nothing without the MC. So it's really good to see, and the DJ can be the MC.
Right,
So it's so refreshing to see a young black Muslim couple doing their thing
for
in
sure.
an industry that's so tainted with a lot of poison and venom, and you guys are just striking life into the industry. So we appreciate
Right, me too a lot. And he
that.
was doing
Absolutely.
the DJ before he met me, and I was a rapper before I met him.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
Right.
it's not like we became this when we met. Like, we were already doing what we were doing
Right.
separately.
And that's the beauty of complementing, right? The
Mm,
two parts that are complementing each other are already that before they complement.
exactly.
So you wouldn't have been able to compliment him if you weren't already that when you guys
Mm.
met. So I love seeing y'all. Y'all are a huge inspiration. We definitely appreciate you. Last question before we go, because I know it's getting a little late at least in Eastern time, and the sun's going down on your end. What are your thoughts on the impact of AI and all the AI apps that are out there right now? Have you been able to? And I know I've seen you use AI in your content. So do you think that art pieces, voiceovers, etc., are bad for the industry? Like
Oh,
when you see who.
well,
Mhm.
yeah, I think that the voiceovers are bad because you don't know who's actually who, and if that's actually the person, and I think that's the identity theft. But as far as like utilizing AI in other ways, like creating art and stuff like that, like let's say you're trying to think of an idea for your album cover, and you just can't, if you're not a designer, you're not a graphic designer, let's say you don't have the money to hire somebody, that's where AI can come in, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I think that those type of aspects, when it comes to that type of stuff, it truly does benefit hip hop. For example, I used AI, like you said, just recently because I was trying to make it, and I'm still doing this, where I want to put out a freestyle every week or music every week. And so I had wrote something about Carisha saying that she was a whore, and but usually it takes me a minute to memorize it so that I can perform it in front of the camera. And so I was like, oh no, it's already, what was it, Wednesday night or Thursday? And I was like, I got to put it out like today because this is the week. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to memorize this within, a day or whatever because I got stuff to do. And I was like, oh, AI. And,
Right. Do it for
and
you.
so I was able to literally just put videos and pictures in the background, and then I picked some pictures of myself, and I went to on the internet, and I found where you can, I guess, a website where you can use a picture, and then you can have the picture talk. And so, like, it basically just turns your picture into life.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that, and I was like, "Oh, there you go." So I put that video on now because I was like, I'm not gonna be able to like memorize it right now and then have it in time. So I mean, on time. So that's where AI comes in. It wasn't rapping for me. It was literally just, I just was able to use a picture so that it could move the mouth. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, "Ooh, thank you, God." So stuff like that, like AI can really progress what you're trying to do so that you don't have to, I guess, do it the hard route, or you know what I mean? So it's making it where you can get things done quicker. So yeah, I don't like the voiceovers because that to me is identity theft, and that's dangerous. But I do like, for graphics and for if you just want to use a picture to like move the mouth or whatever, or utilize some type of animation to like incorporate in music videos or something like that. I think that's really really cool. So I think it has a lot of good AI, but it has a lot of potential dangers. So that's how I see
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, and it's I personally I use AI for a lot of the stuff we do for the STEM files. Whether it's creating captions or videos,
Yep.
stuff like that. But artificial, like you said, it has its place. And I don't think that the technology itself should be attacked. It
Mm-mm.
should be the thing that should be attacked is the person using it for malicious intent. So we got to stop. We got to stop attacking objects and things that have no brain or no, not so much no brain, but no way of judging what from what. It's only controlled by what we do. So I think we got to stop. Oh, artificial intelligence is bad. Is bad. No, the person behind whatever is being used is bad, not
Mm-hmm.
not the technology.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, this was
Absolutely. Well,
fun.
yeah, it was, and I do appreciate you for coming through. And I'm glad because I was sweating hard. Like when you were them first 15 minutes, I was like, oh my god, what's going on with this?
I was on the
But
call with my label, but and it was just us discussing the actual the show for Chicago, and I completely lost track of time. And it was my husband that told me like, "Hey, what are you doing? You supposed to be on?" I was like, "Oh my god, sorry, I got to get
shout
off."
out to Phil.
Yes, he literally was like, "You supposed to be on?" They just called me. I said, "Oh my god!" So thank you, God, that Phil told me that because I was in that call, man. So yes, thank God, because I would have been mortified if I had just kept talking and if he hadn't reminded me, and it would have been horrible because I think it was really important for this conversation to be had. So I'm glad that we still was able to have the conversation, um, regardless to my emergency or whatever. But I'm so glad that even to down to the questions that you asked me. So thank you so much. It will never happen again, you know. But you know, so invite me again. I promise you, I
Yes,
won't be late
man.
next time.
Well,
People
for
gonna be like,
sure.
I invited her. She gonna be late. No, I'm always on time. But this
Praise
time,
be to Allah.
woo. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And is there any last things you'd like to leave the audience with before you go? Oh, and I don't know if this is you too uncomfortable for you, but would you be willing to spit something real quick for us?
I always just do.
Even if it's something we haven't heard yet.
I always just do. We out here because that's always like
Okay, hey, what's up?
my
I know.
cousin do. All right. Um, We out here, huh? That's right. Creeping in your mind in the middle of the night because we keep them guessing. Da Vinci Code mode. Walked in the room with that natural glow, straight shining. And the shine match the grind, crisscrossing the glow like I'm running out of time. Like I know this earth is mine. Like I know the people blind. And I know I gotta open up they eyes. They got us more concerned with twerking and surfing. Like shaking it around is gonna stop the pain and hurt. And what's happening to our world, huh? What's happening to our girls, huh? She thinks she only get a man with her body that might get a man, but that won't keep a man, honey. Somebody told you wrong, huh? Somebody done told you wrong. Just saying how I feel. It's time to keep it real.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not impressed at all by all these fake stars. Ain't even gonna lie, man. Radio got me going insane. But I'd rather change the game than sit back and complain. Cause what? We out here. Don't be
Hey.
surprised. We out here. Don't be surprised. We
Yes,
out here.
ma'am.
Look, Nailani trying to cut in.
Right, right.
She
Filling in
either
the
come.
role for Pops.
Mm-hmm.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah, my girl. So yeah, that was that. The only thing I wanted to leave y'all with is if you are in the Chicago area or if you can drive to Chicago, July 30th, I will be performing at the Gallery Guichard, 8 p.m. The tickets are on my website, www.akilahsworld.com. Akilah's World is AKILAHSWORLD.com. So that's my website. My mixtape will be, God willing, on there. Coming soon, uploaded next week. And I'll have some more materials. I'll have two mixtapes that I'll be coming out with. Um, One will be all of my, well, the majority of my freestyles that I do on social media that have gone viral. And then the other mixtape is music that a lot of people have either not heard from me or just music that music most people haven't heard yet. And so both mixtapes will have a good amount of songs, about 14 to 15 songs each mixtape. And so, yes, AkilahsWorld.com. AkilahsWorld.com. Purchase your tickets to my show, July 30th in Chicago.
All praise due to our family. If you're watching on YouTube, that link is in the description. And if you're watching on Facebook, it's in the caption. So please, please, please visit that link. Well, family, this has been another edition of the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and art, for sure. So, Sister Akilah, thank you again for joining us on the STEM Files. We hope to have you back soon.
Yes.
Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Alaikum salam.
GC, you on the 5, man. They ready?
Yeah, I know, man. This bow tie won't stay up, though, man.
Did you bend it? You got to bend it.
Yeah, come look at it. I think I got it. Come look at it. I think the clip may be broken. I'm good?
No, sir.
Oh,
No,
hey,
sir.
man, I can't go out there like this, man.
I mean, you know I got the bow tie over, right?
What you talking about?
Keep your bow tie up.
There's a bow tie holder.
Let me show you. Take your bow tie off for me real quick.
There's a bow tie holder, man.
One go underneath, on top, just like that.
You've been waiting to show me this,
I'm
man.
waiting to show you guys. This is revolutionary. This is revolutionary. One for the other side, just like that. And now, let's see your bow tie. Turn up on me real quick. You're on the 4. You're on the 4.
Malik, man, what did you just do, man?
You're on the 4.
Hey, Malik, come back real quick. Real quick. You always do the same thing? Let me see.
It'll never fall again. It'll never fall again.
Come on, man. Wow.
You believe in these false prophets, I say I bet he lying. No football, New York City Giants. Girl dad, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. When we teaching our babies, we teach them heavy science. Heavy science. When we teaching our women, we teach them heavy science. Heavy science. When we teach men, we teach them